Last week I spoke about working on our relationship with ourselves. And somewhere in that vast array of wisdom and profundity, I spoke about the all too often effects that expectation may have on that process. And after the service, Ward walked up to me and said, "I'd like to hear you talk some more about that expectations thing." And quite frankly, Ward, I didn't give that much thought. But the more I thought about it, it struck a nerve somehow. And I'm going to talk about expectation, but maybe in a different take, a different way. But that's actually going to be kind of the end of my talk this morning. This pulpit, this podium, I believe, should never be used as a political platform. Sometimes it gets a little close. But I believe that the political beliefs are just like your spiritual beliefs. That's your business. What I'm going to say next may motivate some of you to just get up and walk out. But I'm going to ask you to hear me out. I think the President of the United States that is currently in office is probably one of the best things that happened to this country in a very long time. And there's a reason I say that. The consciousness which seems to be running our country is undeniably so diseased with hate. There's no denying that fact. And we listen to our politicians and we keep hoping for the best. We want to stay optimistic. But the fact is that the consciousness of this country is hugely, majorly diseased with hate and fear and greed and injustice. Most recently, we've had more of the killings of innocent people. Why? Hate, the disease. You can make all the laws you want to about guns and security. That's just a feeble attempt to mask the symptoms of the disease. The people running this country now should not be elected, they should be quarantined. We keep thinking, well, this team or that team has the answers. Actually, both of the political parties in this country have been diseased. 95% of the people that sit in both houses of Congress approve of the immoral defense and war budget and activity. 95%. We have lost what Wayne spoke about this morning. We have lost the we consciousness. Seriously, lost it. Where's the hope? I was reading somewhere that, yes, our young people are our hope. They are. Little children look at things always in a positive way, everything except bedtime. They accept everything. They trust in the goodness of people, in human nature. They trust in people around them for protection, for support, for wisdom, for food. And then what do we do with the hope of our country, the hope of our future for humanity? Well, the first thing we do is we get them interested in sports so they can become winners. Certainly we don't want them to be the scornful and shameful losers. Then we buy them Xbox and other video games where they can sit around and blow stuff up. Then we take them to the movies where they can watch the good guys blow stuff up and hate the bad guys. What are we doing? To the hope of humanity. You may wonder why I make such a big deal out of Princess Zira. That thing with her in the paper, I really want her to feel that special feeling of caring about other people. She's the future. I hope she doesn't learn how to play video games, although I'm sure she will. I hope she doesn't get into sports, but I'm sure she will. So it's our job, folks, she's part of this community, it's our job to make sure she knows the feeling of caring, the feeling of compassion, and how it makes her feel better than winning any soccer game, better than winning any video game, better than going to any movie. That's our job. I talked about cultivating a relationship with ourselves. We need to be cultivating our hope for the future as well. Now I'm going to talk about expectations. Great expectations. You hire me, you pay me money to come up with ideas and thoughts and possibilities that might elevate your consciousness, expand your level of awareness, improve your understanding of the presence and the power of the divine within each one of us, the possibilities of enriching your lives. About 2 years ago, Heather loaned us this camera every Sunday to video these messages. And then she goes to all the work to upload it, and sometimes that's quite a task. I'm very pleased that we can do that. Joanne was asking me last week, I've been watching those videos, how come there aren't more people looking at them? I have this perhaps unrealistic expectation of going onto YouTube and finding some of these videos getting 400,000 or 500,000 hits. The reality is just 4 or 5, not hundreds or thousands, just 4 or 5. I expect me and us, and that's the great expectation. I expect us all to work at elevating the consciousness in this community, in this world. I'm going to ask for your help. When you see an opportunity to talk about, to demonstrate the we consciousness, to help quell and quarantine this disease of hate and greed and violence. Stand up and do it. Speak your piece. Tell them to watch videos on YouTube of Church of the Oaks. We can be part of the hope of humanity as well. That's my expectation. And it's a great expectation. And I don't think it's unrealistic. Every one of us has a world filled with people in it. Every time we hear someone talking politics in the same old, it's not the politics that's going to change this world or this country. It's the consciousness. And I think we all need to be involved in politics. But when we involve ourselves in that arena, let's involve ourselves in a fashion and support people that have a we consciousness, that are about finding solutions to our problems rather than to just putting a Band-Aid on it and doing anything they can as long as it doesn't affect the corporate profit levels. Our consciousness, our expanded understanding and awareness of the divine that is in every living thing, that has great value. And it causes me great expectation in what all of us can do. The message that all of us can share with the people in our lives. Help them expand their awareness of the divine, of the unseen. Help them to see the disease for what it is. Not a fault, it's a disease. And that disease will result in the termination of our species and maybe our world. We have to cure the disease. And that's not going to happen in a 4-year election term or in an 8. It's going to happen over time with a lot of diligence, a lot of conviction and commitment, the kind of stuff that every one of us in this room has. So I invite you all to share my great expectation for the future of humanity. And so it is. Let's have peace, please.
Amen.